Hello everyone. Today we are going to study about a difference between amalgamation in nature of mergers and amalgamation in the nature of purchase in corporate restructuring. So to start with, let us know the meaning of amalgamation. It refers to a process of combining two or more companies in the organizations or entities into one single entity. This can involve a merger, that is, combining the assets, liabilities, and operations to form a new identity, or consolidation, combining assets to cover liabilities and operations under a single management structure. And in another words, it is also called as acquisition, where one company takes over another by absorbing its assets and liabilities and operations. So next, what is the meaning of amalgamation in the nature of merger? In the context of a merger, an amalgamation refers to the process of combining two or more companies into one single entity, which results in a new company being formed. One company is absorbing the other company. Their assets and liabilities and operations are being consolidated. In an amalgamation of merger, both the companies cease to exist as a separate entities. A new company is formed and they are taking over assets and liabilities along with their operations. The shareholders of both companies receive shares in the new entity. So this meaning of amalgamation in the nature of purchase. In the context of a purchase, an amalgamation refers to the process of acquiring one company by another company. It results in the acquired company ceases to exist as a separate entity, or the acquiring company absorbs the assets, liabilities, and operations of other company. Or in third case, the company's shares being converted into shares of an acquiring company. In this amalgamation process, the acquiring company retains its identity and control over the other company. The acquired company loses its separate entity, and the shareholders of the acquired company may receive a share or any kind of consideration from the acquiring company. So let us know what is the actual difference between amalgamation in nature of merger and amalgamation in the nature of purchase. The first one is transfer of assets and liabilities, whereas in the merger there is transfer of all the assets and liabilities, but in the nature of purchase there is no need to transfer all the assets and liabilities. The next difference is shareholders of transfer company. Equity shareholders 90% of equity shares in the transferring company who become the shareholders of transferring company, whereas in the nature of purchase, the equity shareholders need not to become any kind of shareholders of the other company. The third difference is a purchase consideration. Purchase consideration in the nature of merger is discharged or need by issue of equity shares of the company, whereas in the nature of purchase, the purchase consideration need not to be discharged whole need by issue of equity of shares. The fourth difference is in the nature of merger, the same business of the transferred company is intended to be carried on by the other company, whereas in the nature of purchase, the company of the transfer company need not to be intended to be carried on by the other company. The other difference are recording an asset and liabilities. In the nature of merger, the assets and liabilities which are taken over are recorded at their existing carrying amounts except where adjustment is required to ensure an uniformity of accounting principles. Here, in the nature of purchase, the assets and liabilities taken over are recorded at the existing carrying amounts are the basis of their fair value. Method of accounting. Here, in the nature of merger, the general entries of recording the merger are passed by pooling of interest method. But here, in the nature of purchase, the general entries for recording the purchase of business are passed by purchase method. So, the amalgamation in the nature of merger says a mutual consolidation, that is, both companies to be mutually agreed and combined to form a new entity. New entity formed. That is, a new company is created taking over the assets, liabilities, and their operations. The third one is there is a shared control and ownership. Shareholders of both companies receive shares in the new entity. This is the nature of merger, dissolution of original companies. Both the companies will not exist as a separate entities after the merger. Pulling of resources and expertise. Both the companies will equally contribute to form the new identity so that they can survive in the market. It is amalgamation in the nature of purchase. Acquisition. One company offers another company by absorbing its assets, liabilities, and operations. The acquiring company retains its identity, which means the acquiring company retains its name, control, and ownership over the other company. Acquired company loses its identity. The acquired company ceases to exist as a separate entity. Then, transfer of ownership. Shareholders of the acquired company receive shares and consideration from the acquiring company. Unequal contribution in the acquiring company dominates the transaction with the acquired company contributing its assets and operations. Let us have a conclusion. In summary, the amalgamation in the nature of merger involves a mutual consolidation for forming a new entity with a shared control, ownership, and equal contribution. In contrast, in an American mission, in the nature of purchase involves an acquisition where one company absorbs the another, retaining its identity and control over the other company. The amalgamation in the nature of merger is a mutual consolidation of two companies for forming a new entity with a shared control and ownership. And the mission in nature of purchase is an acquisition of one company by another, where the acquiring company absorbs the assets, liabilities, operations of the acquired company. Understanding this difference is essential for all the business investors and stakeholders to navigate the complex corporate transaction and make an informed decision about whether they want a merger where they can merge with another company or they want to purchase the other company and have their control over that company retaining their own identity. Thank you so much for listening.